Okay, so today's episode, it's special. I've been trying to hook up with my friend Cameron for a few weeks now, and he lives a very busy life. He's a music teacher, and he's a musician at my church, and he also does a lot of gigs on the weekend. So it's Monday morning, and I'm gonna head down to his house and just basically go through his whole vinyl collection. And I'm excited to see what he has. He is very knowledgeable about music, and he has a very eclectic style. So yeah, let's go check out Cameron's vinyl collection. Hey guys, I'm here with Cameron, and Cameron is gonna give me a tour of his whole station that he has set up. And just like, feel free to pull out different records that you think are super cool. Like I see Norah Jones, like, yeah. Well, so I know you have an eclectic taste in music, I can tell already.
There's actually a jazz guy named Charlie Hunter that she happens to record at the same studio as him in Blue Note label. And she happened to sing on 2 of his songs. I was like, what is this intoxicating voice? Who is this? The second one.
Oh, wow.
And I need the third one, but I haven't, because as you see, I have a little problem.
How do you do your collection? Do you try to get everything?
I try, well, I'm kind of like obsessive a little bit. When I start liking somebody or something, I don't know any bounds or limits, and then I go like, if I find a new artist and they've been around, especially if they're from another time, I just go all out and I'm like, let me get everything.
Yeah, you want everything that they make.
This is my old guitar teacher from Virginia.
Really?
He actually put out an album in the 70s.
That's really cool.
And so he gave me this vinyl, and going with that story, when you say do I collect and try to get them all, Johnny Winter, he passed away in 2014, but he was just about to play in Arcadia at Arcadia Blues Club that year, and then he passed away. But my teacher here was always like, Johnny Winter, second winter, second winter. It took me like 3 years to find this album. He has a brother who's still living, Edgar Winter, and they're both albino. See?
Yeah, it's not an effect.
So you see that?
Oh,
and,
cool.
And they're not twins or anything.
Yeah.
And then, so these are all Johnny Winter. And then here's Edgar. It's kind of a, I would say, flamboyant cover, but it was the times. Yeah. And so that's Edgar, who can play keyboard and sax and stuff as well. And basically, Edgar was in Johnny's band at first, and then they both went, Johnny's more blues and Edgar is more pop. You have probably heard Edgar Winter song, Free Ride. It's just, come on and take a free ride. Yeah, that's him, that's Edgar. But Johnny gave actually one of my favorites, Jimi, a run for his money. In fact, he was the only guy to come out that Jimi was a little nervous about. Now, it's not like athletics, like who's gonna be the better, but it is something competitive about Guitarist. I try not to do it, like I didn't wear the pick around my neck, and no one would really know I play guitar unless we talk. Another thing with Johnny real fast and Jimi is that Jimi asked this guy to play in his band with him, and his parents, this guy's parents were like, no, because he was only 15. Oh, wow. So the fact that Jimi wanted this guy who plays guitar as well, named Randy California. Yeah. And actually, this is the drummer for the band and Randy's stepdad. So it's cool, he is in a band with his stepdad. Wow. Right? But the thing that started it all, I think if I could play a piece for you a little bit. I was on my way, I was in something, an organization called the Cub Scouts. And and we were on our way to a cookout. You were a kid in it, or you were? I was a kid in it. Oh, okay. I'm missing one crucial one called Diver Down. But these are the best ones with David Lee Roth in them. Oh, wow. I have none of them with Sammy Hagar, but I like that stuff too. I guess I could tell you how it all began in my home. That was how it began with my guitar playing. Yeah. But in my home, my dad would play Isley Brothers. This is actually his album. Yeah. Yeah, I guess likes them. And I've been on them tough. He would play them. He would play Stevie Wonder. There would be a lot of jazz. That's what Pat Metheny is. This right here, speaking of collectible, I have never opened this. Esperanza. She did this album in Facebook Live, recording and making the album. And so the whole time, even when she was asleep, the film was rolling. She would wake up in the night. I watched a lot of it.
That's
and
crazy.
she would write on like butcher paper that was on the wall like an idea.
Wow.
Right? Now, this is not available digitally or anything, so all I've ever heard from it is what they showed them recording at the time.
Yeah.
But you know, lately we've been talking about, and I even mentioned in service over the weekend about like Kanye West and his conversion stuff. Well, before him, Johnny Lang did the same thing. So Johnny Lang was a blues guy, still is, but he, his girlfriend, I guess, was a pastor's daughter, and she would always tell him about the Lord and stuff, but he was just living that life, you know. So not advising that always works out, but this time it did, and he just had an amazing encounter with God. And so he now does blues-based music, but it has to do with the Lord. Newer stuff, that's Ben Harper, whose parents actually own the Claremont Music Store. Here's a couple of gems. I don't know where the other one is, but this is Continuum and Born and Raised. That's John Mayer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this was a gift.
I haven't tried John Mayer either.
It's okay. I like him. I have a love-hate with him at first because I was jealous. We're the same age. I was getting ready to apply to Berklee College of Music. He went there. And so I was just like, man, John Mayer has my life. But I listened to his music. I have my life, and I have the life I need. I listen to what he says in his songs. He doesn't always sound excited about what his life is about, you know. He actually has a song on Heavier Things, which is one, like my favorite. Really? That's up there. You know, of course. Come on.
Oh, cool. You gotta have a Marley.
Yeah, come on. And then I was gonna show, oh, my son bought me this, the one who has made me a grandfather twice. Bought me this 2 Christmases ago, but this Pearl Jam album, when it came out, I was in 8th grade, and it was sold out on CD. And I need to show you this. This is the album that everybody misses out on when every time you hear Pink Floyd or this Dark Side of the Moon. This one, and it's not just because it came out the year I was born, 77, but it is like one of the greatest albums and underrated albums, Pink Floyd's Animals.
Oh, really?
Another thing that I would want to point out is this Beach Boys album. Everyone thinks about surfing with them. After surfing, man, they really came alive. Like, but this album, when this came out, I was in 6th grade. It was the first ones to have this on.
Oh, really?
And I was the only one allowed to have it. My mom bought it. Everybody else's mom wouldn't buy it for them. Yeah. This is a rare one. Stone Temple Pilots, their 2nd album. And I actually paid $70 for it. No way. Yes. Wow. And then like Herbie Hancock doing a whole album of Joni Mitchell songs, and Norah Jones is on it.
Okay.
Yeah, let me play a piece of that. Now, let me tell you, one of my favorites of all time is this guy on the article here, and I have pictures with him. I've gotten to meet him. His name's Doyle Bramwell II. He actually, I met him at Downtown Disney. He is a great player. I heard him in 10th grade. When I was in 10th grade, he was in a band called Archangels. Been listening to him ever since. Yeah, I have this one. This was his latest.
Oh, that's a cool album cover.
This one is the one that he came back with after all that time. Amazing, amazing, amazing voice, Jeff Buckley.
Oh, yeah, you have the vinyl.
I have it.
And sealed.
Yeah, it's still sealed. This was his 2nd album. Actually, it is a mixture of stuff, like it says. But see, I leave some stuff wrapped up so that if I want to buy something, I can go down and open it. I have a couple that are still wrapped besides that special one. So this guy here used to play with John Mayer. So this is what I say when you say, how do I collect? When I find someone I like, I'm like, okay, what else are you doing? And then I go and find their own stuff. Yeah, I got to meet him too, and he's pretty cool. Here, the last thing I was planning on was, this is Dave Grohl's band, Foo Fighters. Yeah. And I met him at Disneyland.
You did?
Yeah, we didn't get to talk that much, but I wanted to ask him all kinds of questions. I sneak past the little guards that they have, and then I got a quick picture with him. But why I point him out is that he's still recording an analog. I had ready, so there's a group, the Black Crowes, and I really love them. They're probably one of my favorite bands from my lifetime. Yeah. And I'm actually in a cover band of theirs. And here's the album that came out when I was in 10th grade, and that's when I was like, yes, they are my favorite band. And so basically, This guitar player is actually on one of my songs that's not released, on one of my songs from my second album that I did a long time ago. And here's a new guy, a newer guy, Gary Clark Jr., who's doing blues from Texas, and actually Doyle, the guy up here, was instrumental in getting him signed. So do you see what I mean? Like all of it, all the stuff I like and listen to, come full circle some kind of way. Whomever I like is winds up on somebody else's album. There's actually a Tommy Bolin tribute album that Derek Trucks is on. Yeah. You know, that's a good question. Here it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, Ghost Stories. Yeah. I tell you, you know you've really arrived when you don't even put in the album who plays what, because people know it already, you know? And they actually did that from their third album on.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, what were you about to say?
Oh, do you have a, do you like Coldplay or?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. And
then this is like a little piece of home, because Dave Matthews is from Virginia, but not from my part.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I never gave you any room for questions. What would you like to ask me? So,
okay, so let's say someone's barely getting into vinyls. What's some albums that are like a good start?
So I would say if you're into music from today, whatever it is that you love to hear the crackle behind that you listen to digitally, that would be what I would go with. But if you're just like, I just want to collect records, I want to start. When you say collect, I always think of jazz and crooner type things, and just anything old is when you talk collecting. Well, that was really fun to see Cameron's collection and visit with him. I enjoyed hanging out with him and hearing about his music journey. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this isn't the last you see of him on my channel. He has just a ton of knowledge. And something cool that he did when discovering music is that he kept up with the people in the band and followed their journey. Not just like the lead singer, but like he would follow the guitarist and follow him. He would have followed the guitarist to the new band. And I thought that was pretty cool because I never thought of the musicians. So that's something maybe I'll pick up and do some research on some of my old bands that like aren't together. It's like, hey, what is the guitarist up to? Or what is this person up to? So yeah, he was super knowledgeable. It was like he knew them all personally. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Totally subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you to everyone who's joined me on this journey. Like the video if you like the whole idea of like meeting up with different people and hearing their collections, because I have a few people in my life where I'm like, I want to go see their collection. Well, be sure to, keep up with the episodes, like and subscribe as always. Hook up with me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys around.